Hello, I'm Beastly and this is Eternal Ring Any Percent. Within the last few years, Skywolf came up with a new route involving the use of Dark Flash and Power of Seek. In the past, we used the Wind Magic Vortex, and this change has led to a lot of the route becoming different than how it was before. Now that I have a solid run using this route, I want to provide an explanation of the route and strats that led to this time being possible. This game has multiple unskippable cutscenes, but I personally think they are pretty funny, so I'll avoid talking over them. If you don't want to watch the cutscenes, I'll have some timestamps in the video description that you can click to skip to the end of them.
Thanks for the lift.
If you're gonna deliver that ladder, you'll be a lot better off doing it before nightfall.
You bet I will.
We fishermen usually steer clear of this island. Gotta be hard working for the king, huh? Best of luck to you. Hey, be careful out there.
Right off the bat, I turn off the walk animation and make the ring menu at the top right of the screen stay visible at all times during regular gameplay. This is really just preference. Over here to the left is the first magic ring we have available to us. There is a ring that's faster to grab later in the worship area, but by grabbing this ring we can equip all of our magic rings in one menu, which ends up being a little faster overall. I'll go into more detail on the ring crafting system and mechanics as we go, but before we leave the Waterfall Cavern we need to get 2 earth gem drops out of these 3 Sahagins. We'll be using these 2 earth gems in the magic ring we picked up earlier to create the Earth Heal magic ring, which converts MP into health points. We are still going to pick up these 2 golden grass though, as we won't be crafting the Earth Heal ring until passing through an area with nearly guaranteed damage via poison. Our current objective is to gain access to the Water Shrine and obtain the Water Key. We have to check in with the research team that was sent by the Kingdom of Hengaria for them to let us in.
Oh, you're fine. Oh boy, this means we'll need the captain's approval. I guess we just can't send you back. Okay? Please get a replacement from Wallace at the warehouse. He's in charge of supplies. This is a weapon request form.
As thanks for reinforcing them, our sword is taken away and we are told we have to request another. Kane is in a bit of a hurry and doesn't really have time for that, so we head over to the Water Shrine unarmed.
We have no idea what it's like inside.
Now that we have a moment, I'll explain some of the differences between regional versions as well as different platforms that people run the game on. The Japanese version of the game doesn't start you out with the ability to sprint. You have to beat the first boss, the Big Sahagin, to get a ring of move in order to run. This makes the beginning of the game much slower versus the other versions. The PAL version reduces the speed of the game's logic by 1/6 to make it run at the 50 FPS required for the PAL video standard. This makes the US version the fastest and what everybody runs on. As far as platforms go, most runners use the PSN version available on the PlayStation 4 and 5. There is also the original release on PS2 that can be played on emulator as well as backwards compatible PS3s. The PS2 version on a backwards compatible PS3 is actually the fastest way to run the game by 5 to 10 seconds or so, but due to their cost and tendency to break, nobody has really bothered using it. Normally in the water shrine, you have to navigate through and lower the water level before being able to get the water key, but we can skip this requirement with a set of stairs and a Sahagin. We want to get the Sahagin over to the stairs as fast as possible by baiting an attack that has a chance of the Sahagin chasing you with a jump after the attack. Getting the follow-up jump is random, and not getting it first or second try loses quite a bit of time. We position the Sahagin up on the third stair, and then climb up the rest of the stairs and land on the Sahagin in order to get pushed through the wall. Lucky for us, getting out of bounds in this game doesn't make you fall into the void, and mostly locks your height where you initially got out of bounds. Interestingly, if you stand over a chest that is below you, you fall down to where the chest is, giving us a way to navigate dungeons vertically while out of bounds where we would otherwise be unable to. That fireball ring we just looted is going to be our source of damage for the upcoming boss fight, and these magic rocks will be used to fill up our MP so we can cast it. This magic ring across the way here is the last magic ring we will be looting for this run. Everything else will be some form of attribute ring. Looting this water gem makes it so we don't need to get an additional earth gem from the Sahagins or from the crabs in order to craft turbulence later. Since we now have all the magic rings we're going to need for the run, we can put them all on in the same menu we already have to do in order to fill our MP up before the boss fight. Even though we don't have a melee weapon, the giant Sahagin is really easy to manage with just fireball. At the beginning of the giant Sahagin fight, we spam Fireball as it makes the Sahagin dodge every time, allowing us to get in close and loop his attack move that is really easy to avoid taking damage from. Sometimes he'll dodge backwards, but it's not really much of a problem as long as you stick close. If you let him put too much distance in between him and you, he'll do a shoulder charge move, which can be pretty hard to get damage in while he's doing. We don't bother grabbing the special attribute ring the big Sahagin drops called the Ring of Insight that increases EXP gain by around 15%, as that EXP would only amount to 1 extra level by the end of the game, and we want to keep moving. With the big Sahagin defeated, this door unlocks and we can head through and grab the water key.
Are you here in search of don't even have the strength to talk. There is not much time left. You must find her. Find Lila.
Now that we have the water key, we want to get out of the water shrine as fast as possible and find Lila like the water dragon said. The water key is used to open this door, and we have to hope that the crabs by the door are in a position that lets us slip past. Unfortunately, they weren't, so I had to wait for them to disappear to enter the room. The crabs have a chance of dropping a golden grass, which is nice for health safety, or an earth gem, which could save the run if I only got one earth gem from the 3 Sahagins in the opening cave. Going for a second out of bounds with this Sahagin as you leave the water shrine is a bit of a gamble. It only saves 10 seconds or so with perfect luck versus walking out of the shrine normally, and it is pretty common to lose more than that to Sahagin luck. It might be a good idea to delay doing this out of bounds if you are learning the game until you already have a good time in order to reduce early game resets. By getting out of bounds though, we can head straight to the loading zone we used to initially enter the water shrine without following the intended path.
Of the elders. Is that the best you can do? The eternal ring is mine! Mine! Mine!
In case you were wondering, yes, the audio bugs with the voice acting also happen on the original PlayStation 2 version as well. With the research headquarters destroyed, it's now time for us to grab that weapon we were promised. Because we waited, we get to skip a long conversation with the guy who was going to give it to us. A quick note about opening doors. You want to stand in a centered position with your view level as you activate the door. If your view or position is off, the game will move you into position slower than you could do it yourself on the way over. Unlike other first-person From Software games from the era, there is no stamina meter for your melee weapon. This means you can just spam it without really any downside. At the beginning of the werewolf fight, there's a coin flip if the boss goes left or right. Ideally, they go to the right and get stuck in between the sconce and the wall, allowing for an easy kill. A lot of the time though, they end up staying away from the walls, and you want to get in close to loop their attack and dodge animations so you can still get good damage in. Not a perfect fight here as the werewolf went left and I missed one of the fireballs, but still acceptable for the middling RNG. Now that we've cleared the werewolf out of the path and we have the water key, we can proceed through the water key door towards the worship area. Being that I placed the water key on the quick use button the last time we opened a water door, I don't have to open the menu to open this door. In previous routes, we made the Earth Heal magic ring at this crafting station. This could still be done in this route, but it would be slower. It could still be worth considering if you wanted to get some experience running with the Dark Flash route without having to worry as much about dying in the Disposal Valley. Generally, I was shooting for a sub-17 enter worship split, which I did get in this run, but I split a little bit late. As you go off this ledge, you can aim for an elevated part of the ruins to avoid taking fall damage. I don't really go for it as it doesn't matter much in this route, but in the future there could be a route with tighter HP needs and then it could be worth going for. Down this ramp to the left is the magic ring that takes about 2 seconds less to grab than the one that we grabbed at the very beginning of the game. There's an extra golden grass available to the left of this ramp that can be worth getting if you want to be able to take some more damage without dying before making the Earth Heal ring. This version of the Dark Flash route requires us to get 6 total gems from the moths in this and the next area. If you kill a moth while standing under it, the corpse gets stuck on top of you and you can loot the gem they drop quickly without needing to wait for their corpse to disappear. Here I'm grabbing the last 2 golden grass that I'm going to be looting for the rest of the run and equipping them to my quick use button so I don't need to open the menu again in order to heal. I swear, this lizard always manages to be in the way. Around the corner here is the entrance to the Disposal Valley. The Disposal Valley has some randomness to it in a few different ways. As you walk through the area, there is a chance that you get poisoned by the toxic air. It's actually quite rare to go the whole area without getting poisoned. All those golden grasses we've been collecting is so that we can survive the poison without needing to take the time to craft the Earth Heal ring until we have more gems in order to cut out one of the crafting trips. There are quite a few magic stones available as we go through the area, and we will be grabbing a few of them along the way. Having them will ensure we don't run out of mana for casting spells for the duration of the run. As we grabbed 3 out of the 6 needed moth gems in the worship area, we have to make sure we grab 3 more in the Disposal Valley. Some of the moths along the way don't drop a guaranteed gem, but there are backup moths available, so most of the time you get what you need. This left moth is the first of the 2 moths I typically go after for the final needed gem. If this moth didn't drop the gem, I would go for one from an upcoming moth in the cave that I kill anyways to get a level. The movement after grabbing this cloudy gem is a little tight, as we need to get into this cave quickly and get down around the corner before the Kotoblipas can hit us with his attack. The attack isn't an instant kill or anything, it only does 40 damage, but if we were poisoned at this point, there's a good chance we would be below 40. At this point, you might be wondering, didn't this guy say you get poisoned in this area? And you'd be right. Somehow this PB is one of like the 2 times total I've made it through the area without getting poisoned. Sadly, I already spent the time grabbing the golden grass to offset the HP cost of getting poisoned, so not getting poisoned doesn't save any time, and I have to eat the grass anyway to clear out the inventory slot to make my menuing uniform between runs. We're going to stop by the ring crafter in this area as well as grab a gem along the way, but aside from that, there really isn't much else to do here but enjoy the music. We're coming up on the first ring crafting sequence here, and there's a lot to go over. I'm going to try my best to explain things, but if you would rather have a written explanation, I'll link the relevant section of the Brady strategy guide that was made for this game in the video description. In this game, you craft 2 different kinds of rings, both of which improve your elemental stats, but only one of which provides access to new spells. The kind of ring that provides access to those new spells are magic rings. Magic rings require a base magic ring or a previously crafted or looted magic ring with a spell already on it, and elemental gems looted from enemies or from chests to craft and provide you with a spell along with stats in that element while worn. The second kind of ring you can craft are attribute rings. These do not use a magic ring and are created simply with gems, and the attribute rings you can craft only provide elemental stat increases. They do not provide additional spells. As far as gems go, there are 4 standard element gems in the game: wind, fire, earth, and water. Each one of these elements is either considered an attack or assist element. Wind and fire are attack elements, while earth and water are assist elements. Light and dark are a little bit different, and I'll explain them later. The ring crafting menu itself is split between 2 halves. The elements of the gems on the left side determine the final element of the ring. If there is more than one kind of element on the left side, the element of the ring created will be randomly selected out of those elements. The type of gem placed on the right side determines if it will be an attack or assist magic ring. In a similar way to the element of the ring type will be randomly selected from the 2 types if there are both attack and assist type gems placed on the right side. The gems themselves have a value associated with them, with each value giving the gem a different name. Each ring type has its own number of tiers and value needed to make a ring of a higher tier, with the total value of the magic gems being put into making the ring determining the tier. These on-screen numbers are the values needed for creating rings of different tiers across the various types of rings. But know at the high end of these values there is a random chance that you could roll over into a higher tier ring. In general though, there isn't any reason to go above the minimum guaranteed values that you see here. So for example, if I wanted to make an elemental attack ring with a level of 2, I would want to always use 8. Using 9 would just waste 1 value, and using 7 would leave me open to the chance of creating the wrong tier of ring, ending the run. Now to summarize what we actually made in that crafting trip, we made a tier 1 Earth Assist ring, which gives us the Earth Heal spell. We've got a tier 1 Wind Assist ring that gives us Turbulence. a tier 3 wind attack ring that gives us tornado, and a 1 value attribute ring called Ring of Breeze that raises our wind magic stat. Now that we have access to a good attack spell with tornado, it becomes worth killing enemies along the way to grow our level and our stats. Since you get mana back when killing enemies, we almost don't have to worry about refilling our mana, but when we do, we have those magic stones to top off with. Now, in the mine, you typically have to ride around floating platforms and elevators in order to navigate through the level to get to the next area, but by using the rats near this elevator, we can get out of bounds and walk straight to the loading zone. The rats run away from the player based on where you are facing, so we face towards the ledge until the rat is going to drop, then look a bit to the left to get the rat near the corner. With the rat near the corner, we can land on top of the rat and quickly get out of bounds. Doing the out of bounds in this manner saves around 1 minute and 40 seconds over doing the area normally and is a bit faster than other methods of using these rats to get out of bounds. In the Iron Mill area, we are going to be picking up the second elemental key, the fire key, as well as using a different method than what we have used so far to get out of bounds. We also need to collect a gem to start building towards crafting the Dark Flash magic ring. The enemy here at the top of the elevator has the gem we need. Oftentimes he won't die in one tornado cast, so we're going to have to hit him again as we come around. We have to move very carefully in the next room as it has the rats we're going to use to get pushed out of bounds. We spin twice as we pass through the room to prevent them from all stacking up inside each other. In order to spawn in the fire key, we have to ride these couple elevators up to a lever on the top level. The key spawns on the lower floor, so we quickly fall down while finishing up the enemy we threw that tornado at earlier. Now that we have the fire key, we can go back up and use those rats to get pushed out of bounds. After grabbing the gem, I face slightly left and perpendicular to the door to create a bit of space in the corner of the room as we enter it. As we slide into the corner, I turn towards it and push into it with the force of all the rats behind us and pop out on the other side. This out of bounds saves around a minute and a half and cuts out a fight with Captain Daryl from the research team. On our way to the River of Lava loading zone, we grab a special kind of attribute ring from this chest called Clarity and equip it right away. Clarity reduces the MP cost of casting magic and saves us from needing more magic stones in the route. In the old route, we used to have to kill the fire demons in this area for gem drops, but in this Dark Flash route we do not. The doors in the River of Lava area require a projectile magic to hit the gem in their center in order to open. In the past, we used Wind Cutter for this, but now Turbulence is used with some interesting effects that I'll go into later. It's actually quite easy to lose time navigating this area, as any time you miss opening one of the doors, you have to sit still and wait for your mana bar to recharge to get another shot at going through. Past this door is the one enemy in this area we want to kill and loot for a gem drop. The Phoenix takes 2 tornado casts to kill with our current setup, but when the gem drops, that second tornado cast will still be spinning on top of the gem, so we need to heal ourselves as we grab it to survive. You can slip to the right of the fire demon here and get to the door as it opens a little bit earlier. It's just a tad scary to try and slip past the demon and its tornado that close to the edge of the lava. This is the king of a nation that was once called Aldine. They were a major military power on the mainland that invaded the island of no return to face the Soulsians and gain the Eternal Ring. They mostly won the war, but before claiming the ring they were cursed and all started to turn into monsters, which prevented them from returning from the island of no return. Without their king, Aldine eventually dissolved.
What's going on?
This way.
It is possible to move so quickly here that you get hit by the dragon fire and die, so I slow down for a quick moment before proceeding through this hallway.
That fire dragon has completely lost his human My name is Lila. Lila Satin. I am the if Don't move. It's dangerous. Let me. I'll take care of this. Father! It's me, Lila! Please, calm down.
Now, to explain what is going to happen in the upcoming boss fight with the cockatrice, I have to explain what turbulence actually does. Enemies that are hit with turbulence have the damage threshold for stunning them lowered. When we hit a door with turbulence, the door becomes inactive after opening and freezes the turbulence timer that we applied to it. This timer carries over to the next area and gets applied to the cockatrice, making it so that we can stun it with tornado at our current stats and level. The stun that turbulence allows us to get with tornado makes it so tornado can hit the cockatrice multiple times in a single cast. Eventually the cockatrice will open its eye and no longer be stunned by tornado. To get it to close again, we just go in and smack it a few times with melee and then throw a tornado once the eye closes. The cockatrice drops the first dark gem that we're going to need in order to craft Dark Flash later in the run. In the ruins, we grab the hunting sword and equip it right away. In this route, the extra win stats we get from the Ring of Breeze and the hunting sword let us kill some upcoming gargoyles in one tornado cast. But after I got this run, we thought of possibly skipping the Ring of Breeze and hunting sword and two-shotting the gargoyles. In such a route change, you would skip the time of crafting the ring, which takes around 24 seconds. You also would get to skip killing and looting one of the mobs in the disposal valley, and also you would not have to loot and equip the hunting sword. Compared to what we do now, which is stabbing the Garg and then using one tornado, it would probably save around 10 seconds total, but make for a harder library segment. In order to get through the library, we have to complete a few steps in sequence. To start, we have to eliminate 3 gargoyles on each side to activate the elevators that take us to the second floor. On both sides of the second floor there is a lever, and once both of these levers are pulled, we can take a new elevator down to a lower floor and exit the zone. Each one of these gargoyles has an element attached to them, and if you use the same element spell on that gargoyle, they die instantly. So we throw turbulence through the door and kill the wind gargoyle before we even enter the room. There are 2 paths to the levers on each side of the second floor. You can see the path I take on the first half in this image. Along the path here we can also grab another special effect attribute ring. This is the sacrifice ring, which revives you on death once, restoring your HP and MP and then breaking. It's just a bit of insurance, but can also be used as an emergency MP refill if needed during a boss fight. Now that we have hit the first of 2 levers, we have to walk back to the elevator and take it back down to start fighting the gargoyles in the second half of the library. This hole that I'm going around here is where the elevator will appear once we flip the second lever. A quick note here, if you're playing on emulator, you really want to start the second set of gargoyles from the right side like I am here. If you start on the left, you can get an extra bit of time loss, as Kane will stand on the elevator after the gargoyles for a few extra seconds. We stick around the center gargoyle here in order to get the gem it drops, as the gem it drops is a dark gem that we will be using to make Dark Flash. I turn pretty hard to the left here and go through this other door, as it ends up being a little bit faster. Here's a picture of that map again with the route through the second half of the second floor shown in red. You can get cursed by these enemies if you get hit by them as you maneuver through these rooms, but if you do get cursed, it will dissipate by the time you have to fight anything, making it not a big deal. As you can probably tell by now, the library tends to drag on for a while. It would be really nice if there was some way to skip needing to hit both of the levers to activate the elevator, as it's probably the least engaging part of the run, but a way out of bounds in this area has yet to be found. As it stands, however, all we can really do is try to optimize our movement and the gargoyle fights to go as fast as we can. Thankfully, the music in this area is pretty good and prevents me from getting too bored. With both levers activated, we ride the final elevator to the bottom of the library. In this final chest of the library is one of the most overpowered rings in the game. It's another special attribute ring called Power of Seek. We throw it on right away, as well as put on that sacrifice ring we got earlier. The Power of Seek makes your magic attacks home in on enemies, which has a very synergistic effect when paired with Dark Flash, as you will see later in the run.
You're safe. I'm so glad you're okay. I'm all alone here. It's a long...
Now that we found Lila after all this time, we want to leave immediately.
Leaving already? Oh. We don't have much time. You stay right here, okay?
She sees that we're trying to leave and ones-up us by leaving first. Not wanting to be outdone by Lila leaving before we can leave, we leave so we can follow her so we can leave first next time we see her. There is a cutscene coming up here in this area that people have been looking for a way to skip for quite some time, but nobody has been able to find anything just yet.
Lila, Soulus, time. Lila, Soulus, Soulus. Can you hear me? I'm using the last of my magic so that you may hear me. My human side is rapidly deteriorating. I can hardly speak now. I'm the leader of the soldiers, Azabar Durin. I am the last dragon with a human consciousness. Even the great magician, Gil Grey, is now just a fire dragon. There were many that preferred to die rather than lose their human consciousness. Now Lila is the last of the soldiers. I will soon forget everything, leaving her behind. The eternal ring that we destroyed cannot be repaired completely, and it's losing its power. Each time Soulus tries to get out, the entire island shakes, and it's getting worse. I have told Lila to leave the island, but she's trying to save Soulus. She is teaching him to have a human heart and to care about others. She doesn't understand that it's impossible to teach human emotions to a being with no feelings. Only the one who has the 4 keys can get to the eternal ring from the ancient laboratory. Lila's there. Please, save her from the evil curses that bind her. The younger you that I once knew had a kind heart. I'm confident that you will achieve great success. For you, Lin Grey, are first child of the great magician.
For those keeping track at home, this means that Cain is the son of the first magician who became the fire dragon. Lila is the daughter of the fire dragon, meaning that Lila and Cain are brother and sister. It's now time for the final ring crafting sequence of the run. Our only goal on this trip is to turn the no longer needed turbulence ring into dark flash. We put both of the dark gems we've gathered up to this point on the left side in order to make it a dark ring, and then attack type gems on the right side with enough value to make a tier 3 dark attack ring, which is dark flash. Dark Flash works like a cluster bomb essentially, releasing a bunch of little magic balls outward as an explosion. When combined with Power of Seek, all these little magic balls home in on enemies, making it a lot easier to realize the full damage potential of the spell. We have to climb the Wind Tower to face the Wind Dragon boss that resides at the top and claim the Wind Key. We don't have to limit how many times we cast Dark Flash as long as we're killing enemies, as the MP we get back from killing those enemies will keep feeding more Dark Flash casts. There's not a whole lot to explain here as we climb the Wind Tower to reach the Wind Dragon, so if you made it this far in the video, I just wanted to say thank you for watching. After getting all of these levels, I like to heal to fill up the HP pool that is expanded along the way. You want to make sure Dark Flash is selected as your ring before standing on the elevator to the Wind Dragon, as the cooldown will lose you time if you aren't already on it. The Wind Dragon in the Dark Flash route is basically a coin flip. If the dragon uses Tornado, it is easy to dodge and get a one-shot with Dark Flash and finish close to where the key will appear. The worst result is what happened here, with the dragon pushing me away with gusts of wind from their wings. You can still one-shot the dragon with this move, but it is harder to time the Dark Flash cast, and you finish the fight farther away from the wind key, losing a little time. Now that we have the Wind Key, we have to climb back down the Wind Tower to go to the Wind Key door, which will unlock the Snowstorm Plains. Unfortunately, while we're going back down the tower, we can't walk off one of the outside floors and land on a lower one, as there's a kill plane surrounding the entire tower. While going up and down the tower, I always turn to the right, and this is just to make sure that I pass by every enemy to get a shot at killing them for level ups. The Wind Key door behind this griffin is our target. As we move through and go into the teleporter, we have to be ready to stick to the right side as we come out of the loading screen. We need to stick to the right side and inch forward around this corner to skip a conversation with an NPC who wants to talk to Cain. We are going to do another out of bounds in this area, and these harpies can interfere with the setup, so we throw out a Dark Flash to clear a few away. We bait this griffin into a nearby tunnel and set it up so it will push us through the geometry of the wall. I'll have a tutorial linked in the video description if you want to learn this out of bounds trick, but the high level info is that you can get out of bounds too high and be unable to go under the level, which loses 15 seconds, or too low and be unable to loot the earth key out of the upcoming chest, which kills the run. There are a few different setups for this, and people tend to pick the one that works most often for them. Now that we have all 4 of the elemental keys, we make a beeline for the exit to head towards the laboratory to go to the final dungeon. With the Earth Key now in hand, we can open this Earth Key door and gain access to a teleporter that takes us back to the laboratory. We have to place each key into the respective pedestal for each element. If you use the wrong key or item, you get teleported away as a punishment, losing quite a bit of time, so I try to be extra careful. There is a sweet spot near the edge of the pedestal's interact range where Kane will insert the key right away without shifting around, but if you are a little too far, you end up using the key on nothing and have to walk forward and try again. That possible time loss combined with the heavy punishment of using the wrong items makes me focus on my movement and using the correct key on these pedestals rather than aiming for the sweet spot. We have to be a little careful with this raising platform because if we land on it before it starts slowing down, we'll instantly die. Before we can follow Lila into the eternal dimension where Soulus has been locked up, we have to talk to the ring crafter one final time to activate the teleporter.
No matter how many times I listen, it's no use. I can't understand what I can't understand. Let's talk about this boring stuff tomorrow. Let's talk about other stuff, like the babies of seabirds.
No! Today you must listen until you understand. Here, listen. That baby bird will be gone if it dies because you heard it, right? Won't you be sad?
There are many seabirds that can be used as replacements for that baby bird.
But they're not the same baby birds. They're different ones.
I understand what you're trying to say, Lila, but so what? You don't need feelings. It just makes you and other people unstable. Huh? It looks like someone's here.
Really? I wonder if it's him. Listen, I'm gonna go look, but don't try to get out. I can tell because you're shaking.
Will you talk about the baby birds if I stay still?
Okay. Just sit still, okay?
Hurry back, okay, Lila? It's boring here. There's nothing to do.
The Eternal Dimension is a 3-level dungeon with some interesting challenges and fights along the way. However, each one of the levels of the dungeon loops under itself, as can be seen on the map here. Because of this, we can just fall from near the start to near the end of each level, bypassing almost everything. If you go straight to the door without killing the mage on the right here, he can hit you with an attack that curses you. So if you miss with Dark Flash, you want to move to the left or to the right before opening the door to make him miss. I look for the third indent in the stone after this corner for where to fall down. If you're feeling a little antsy, you can just look down and see the lower floor. I always make sure to watch my health and heal in between the levels now. In the past, I actually died from fall damage here because I got distracted. On the third section, I just walk off after the first slope in the path. It's pretty easy to remember. With Lila finally tracked down, we leave immediately and face Captain Daryl. During the fight, we want to keep a bit of distance away from Daryl, as if we get too close, he'll change the moves that he's using and he's more easily manipulated in this mode. This fight can be completed in 3 dark flash casts, and I am able to do it every now and then, but most of the time I finish the fight in 4 casts. After you defeat Daryl, the camera will pan towards him, so you want to already be looking that way. After this, you have to turn toward the door behind you to open it, so you want to make sure that you are at least close enough to the door that you can open it when you are done with the turn.
Hey you! I saw you. What did you do to Lila? She was talking to you. Then she stopped moving. Why? What happened to Lila? Let me out.
The Soulus fight usually takes 3 or 4 dark flashes to win, but it's a bit easier to get a 3-shot on Soulus in comparison to Daryl. The general idea is to cast Dark Flash at a good distance from Soulus so all the orbs hit him, and move the circular bits away from Soulus so they don't home in on them. And there you have it, Eternal Ring any percent in 58 minutes and 21 seconds. I'm going to let the ending cutscenes play, but I'll have some more things to say during the credits.
The God's child stopped moving. The eternal cage will soon fall. Here, you may return to where time exists. Your job here is done.
I can't move. This has never happened to me before. Lila? I know I can ask Lila. Lila? 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 Lila, you're not moving. Please wake up now. Hey, Lila. Come on, Lila. How long have you been lying there? I got out all by myself. Will you tell me about the baby birds? Oh, I get it. I'm outside now. Let's go see them together. Are you mad? Are you mad at me? Lila? Come on, Lila. Lila? Hey, Lila, please get up. Lila, please talk to me. Please, Lila. This feeling. Bad. I get it. This is
death.
A few days later, Cain Morgan returned to the Hungarian royal palace. King Ian, who had heard rumors of the unusual changes on the island of No Return, asked Cain what he had seen or heard. Cain, unfortunately, could only report that the research team, including its leader Daryl, had been annihilated. The death of Daryl, who was also the leader of the Knights, stirred up controversy throughout the kingdom. It was the opinion of many that the elders should take responsibility for his death. And through this wave of popular sentiment, the people who were loyal to King Ian were able to regain a great measure of strength. Eventually, Hungarian rule was returned to the king. Once things had settled down, Cain Morgan departed for an unknown destination. But a few years later, he returned to Hungaria, accompanied by a man of unknown identity. King Ian welcomed Cain's return, honoring him with a new position as head of his retinue. And as Cain requested, the king treated the man of unknown identity as one of his vassals. Cain and the man remained loyal to King Ian, and the ruler's name is now recorded in history as that of a skillful and compassionate leader. The man who had arrived in Hungaria with Cain left following the death of King Ian, but it is said that time itself, not even the passing of decades, could change his appearance.
I would like to thank everyone who worked over the last decade to make this time possible. First of all, I'd like to thank Cregan, whose runs originally got me interested in running this game myself, and who did a lot of the early work on figuring out how to play this game fast. Thanks to The Wandering Mind, Gungi, Lobos, Virgil, and Pete Dorr, who all worked to optimize the Vortex route and found most of the skips seen in this run. Thanks to Skywolf for coming up with the Dark Flash and Turbulence route and bringing the time down even more after all these years. And finally, thanks to Second Place 92 and Mini Omega King for keeping the game alive by running it in more recent times. Next on the docket for a post-commentary video from me is either going to be Shadow Tower or Shadow Tower Abyss. If you have one you'd be more interested in seeing over the other, please let me know in the comments. And if you want to see more from me in the future, please subscribe and like the video.